All right, so now that Cosmic Fury has come out, I think it's a good time to re-rank every single season of Power Rangers. This could be the last we see of this continuity, although some of the stuff with Zordon kind of makes me think otherwise. The stuff with Billy makes me think maybe we'll see more of this continuity, but at the very least, it'll be a while before we see anything Power Rangers, new continuity or not. And also, the last time I did a tier list for all the seasons, I hadn't actually seen them all. I hadn't seen all of Ninja Steel, all of Beast Morphers, or all of Dino Fury, and now Cosmic Fury has come out. I'm fully caught up on Power Rangers. I've seen everything of Power Rangers every season fully except for one, which we'll get to. I haven't finished it, but I still have opinions on it. Yeah, let's just get right into it, starting with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. This one's a tough one to rank because I feel like it has the most emptiness, like most amount of episodes that are just filler, and which isn't a bad thing. Like, all Power Ranger seasons have them. There's not actually that many story-driven, like story necessity episodes in Power Rangers each season, but it's just tenfold in Mighty Morphin. 60 episodes, I think, in the first season, which is an absurd amount. But there is still some highs in Mighty Morphin. Anytime a Ranger shift happened, changeover happened, that was always interesting. Green with Evil is still one of the greatest Power Ranger multi-episode arcs ever. White with Light being really good too. All the classics here. The suits are amazing. The Zords are amazing. So much here, and it's what kicked off this now 30-year franchise. I am gonna put it A. I think if it wasn't the first season and it was like a middle season, I'd probably put it C. I just want to say that because I think I'm going to have some seasons that are probably honestly better than Mighty Morphin below them, starting with Zeo. I feel like Zeo kind of improved upon maybe the Mighty Morphin formula a little bit, but you still have a lot of that Mighty Morphin-isms in it. But it's still a really solid season. The beginning and ending of it are also, hit really hard. Jason comes back to be the Gold Ranger. Jason was probably... was he my favorite Mighty Morphin Ranger? It's close between Billy, him, and Tommy. But he was a better Red. Jason was a better Red than Tommy. But we move on to Turbo. And this is the first F in Power Rangers. Turbo was not good. I haven't seen all of it in a while, but I did see some of it relatively recently. The 3-episode premiere, and it's so. I don't even know. Like, it's just not good. I know that the Sentai footage that they were using was like, that season was a more comedic season, a more parody season, and Turbo was just, I don't know, like a mess, and it wasn't too good. But if you push through it, you do get rewarded with one of the best finales in Power Rangers, which leads into In Space. And Power Rangers In Space is easily an S tier season in Power Rangers. In Space, one of the best starters, one of the best premieres in Power Rangers. Andros being this lone wolf getting added to this team, having to work as a team, which he hasn't done in forever. That's really cool. Astronema, one of the better, if not the best, villain in all of Power Rangers. So good. Her dynamic with Andros, brother-sister thing, great twist. Seeing TJ go from red to blue and handling that very well and showcasing in different episodes, like when he figured out how to defeat the Psycho Rangers, showing why he used to be a Red Ranger, all-time Ranger. I mean, like, Andros is an all-time Ranger for me, TJ is an all-time Ranger for me, and then, the other Rangers still, like, carry their weight very well. Great season. Easy S tier. And we go from S to another S. Lost Galaxy. Leo, not supposed to be there, not supposed to be the Red Ranger, and having to live up to his brother's sacrifice is so good and carried out through the season up until he comes back, until Mike comes back. It's done so well, and the work that we see Leo put in to be worthy of what his brother had done for him was really good. Trakina, she's like not the main villain for most of the season, and then boom, there's this switch to her that I liked. One of the best crossovers with In Space and Lost Galaxy takes place within Lost Galaxy, the only ever Ranger we see like die on screen. I think that's still the case. With Kendricks dying, the way she came back was weird, but that whole thing was crazy. Lost Galaxy, definitely an S tier. And then Lightspeed Rescue. This is one that I feel like I need to rewatch. I don't know. Like, it's either A or B for me, and I'm going to put it B just because I haven't seen it in a while. I mean, I remember really liking Carter, him being a really good Red Ranger, just a natural leader. Just true leadership skills, like maybe no other Red Ranger. There's definitely Red Rangers comparable to him, but like just pure leadership, he might be the best at it. But I just feel like the supporting cast wasn't like the other Rangers didn't hold up as well. I remember liking Joel a lot. That's all I can really remember. Ryan Mitchell, the Silver Ranger, Titanium Ranger. Sorry, that's what he was called. Titanium Ranger, first American Ranger. Which did limit the footage that we would use with them because, they had to make it themselves. Power Rangers has been cheap for 30 years. Power Rangers has been cheap for 30 years. But that was really cool. Demons, an interesting villain for Power Rangers. Not something they go to often. It's like majority aliens. But going Demons was an interesting route. I like the idea of, man-made Rangers, government Rangers, because that's like a realistic thing. Like if the government knew that Rangers were possible, they would very quickly be trying to tap in and make their own, and we see that. Now, in this case, it's done well. They're being used for good. I would have loved a Project Hexagon, where if you haven't heard about it, it was Tommy was going to be working with the government, having his own team of Rangers. Jason was going to come back and be like, I don't know, this isn't the best use of the power. Have his own students. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, and now unfortunately, it never can. That season ended up becoming Ninja Storm, which is a good season. I'll get to, but Government Rangers, very interesting concept. I'm gonna put him in B, and then Time Force. Time Force is another easy S. I mean, Wes is one of the best Red Rangers. Jin is the best Pink Ranger. Spoiler: I'm probably gonna have a Pink Ranger tier list, but their dynamic is so good. It carries the season. It pisses me off that they end saying goodbye with a hug. What are we doing? What are we doing? Let them kiss. I mean, Tommy and Kimberly got to kiss on screen. We couldn't have Jin and Wes do it when it would have been so much more satisfying narratively. But Rancic, the most unique villain defeat in Power Rangers, where he turns himself in through his daughter. He has a change of heart and turns himself in. And then we also, the dynamic of like, I think it's mainly the Yellow Ranger who's on this, but like being careful what they do in the past and how that could affect the future, that playing a role. Mutants and how we're treating them and how we're treating people that aren't like us, which is a theme Time Force really delves into, which is great. Eric and Wes, they're kind of like rivalry to friendship, butting heads to friendship, mainly Eric not liking Wes. But that was done so well. Easy S. And then Wild Force is pretty good. Wild Force is like a fun season, I would say. I'll put it B as well. I mean, the nature, like how, like this is the Captain Planet season for Power Rangers with like, hey, protect the environment. Cole being this super, animal friendly guy, the Zords being living creatures, which we've seen before in Lost Galaxy. I think they did that. But, the Animarium still being a really cool place with all these living Zords. The twist of Master Orc killing Cole's parents is really good, but it's just like, I don't know, like it's just somewhat lacking to me, and I can't even really explain why. It feels like there was more high moments than like sustained highs throughout the season, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna put it in B, and then we go to Ninja Storm, and like Ninja Storm is either like I kind of want to put it A just because it knows what it is and it does it so well, and I think I might. Gosh, I'm looking at this and I don't even know if I agree with this. This is crazy, but Ninja Storm, I'm honestly gonna put A. It is the most chill season of Power Rangers ever, and it commits to that, and it pulls that off pretty well. Ninjas are always cool. I mean, Ninja Storm having the first Disney season, the first full Disney season, and this is where we start to see Disney's kind of theme of like non-Ranger based powers, non-suit based powers with the team, starting off with these ninjas. But man, I mean, it's just such a fun season. Cam is one of the best Rangers in the season, in the series. I mean, pretty underrated, making the Zords, being the Ranger, just doing everything, kind of like Billy back in the day. But God, it's just fun. Like, that's all it is, and that's all it wants to be. So I'm gonna give it extra points for just committing to what it is and doing it so well. Lothar, secretly one of the strongest villains in Power Rangers, but he just commits to just being a funny guy, like just being this comedic villain for the season. Not like over the top comedy, but like it's just fun. And then Dino Thunder. This, I think, was the first season of Power Rangers I ever saw. I gotta warn y'all, Disney era, that's my era. That's the era I grew up on. So it's tough for me. Like, is it quite S? I think it is. Starting Ranger team, there's not a better, like, and when I say chemistry, I don't even mean them working well together. They don't work well together. They don't like each other. But, like, most intriguing starting dynamics goes to Dino Thunder. Those three not getting along, having to learn to be a team, goes really well. Trent and Mesogog having this Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing to both of them. Being this father-son dynamic, both going through that kind of same thing. Trent breaking through evil, an evil clone of him as well. The White Ranger arc being great. And then Dr. O. This was my introduction to Tommy. Tommy's always going to be Dr. O to me. The Black Ranger, back in black. One of the cooler things to see was his fight, his mental fight across, fighting all the different Rangers he's been in the past was a cool, like, visual thing to see. This team just worked so well together. The dynamics were so tight, tightly written. And Mesogog has one of the best on-screen presence of any villain in Power Rangers. I think he has the strongest on-screen presence. That dude was terrifying. The only thing that comes close was, like, original introduction Lord Zed. That's the only thing that's, like, comparable. But Mesogog, probably my favorite villain in all of Power Rangers, just because that dude scared the shit out of me. But we move on to SPD, and I'm going to put it A. It's, like, just barely. It's, like, tapping onto S. But the futuristic police theme, I loved. I liked that a lot. The team, again, has really good dynamics between them, with mostly centered around Jack, actually. Jack with Z being, like, his, like, almost heart or his emotional connection to things around him to start the season off. And then his kind of rivalry almost with Sky. And Sky not wanting to be the Red Ranger, mad that Jack's the Red Ranger. Jack not even really wanting to be there at all, but is forced to be the leader of the team. That is just, they did that so well. And Sky himself growing from, like, just this insufferable douche. Like, he thinks he's better than everyone. He's, like, low-key sexist. I mean, to see him go from that to, like, what he is at the end of the season, and he's, like, just a true ready leader. And I'm willing to assume he's a better Red than Jack. If I had to guess, I would assume he's a better Red than Jack with what he goes through at the end of the season, because then he has the emotional intelligence to deal with a team, as well as all the book smarts, the know-how that he has built on, before that. But, SPD's a really good season. Some stuff with the Omega Ranger was kind of weird. He's just a ball of light, flashing around. But I'm gonna put them A. Mystic Force. God, one of the drippiest seasons. Dude, those suits went crazy. I didn't mention earlier, Dino Thunders are my favorite suits. Those ones are crazy. Super Dino Mode hit hard, but Mystic Force is so close with them. The capes looked so good. Xander is one of my favorite Rangers. And seeing him in this, he did so well. He probably should have been the leader, if I'm being honest. But, like, Nick kind of holds him back a little bit. I don't necessarily hate Nick, but just kind of his whininess and some of, like, his reluctance to believe in magic was kind of weird to me when he's visually seeing magic. But, God, is it better than Zeo, Lightspeed Rescue, and Wild Force? God, some of the moments definitely are. The visuals probably are. Are there seasons I would fill in here? We'll find out. I'm going to put him B for now. But Operation Overdrive, I don't actually think is F. I'm going to put them like D. Mac being an android, one of the best reveals in Power Rangers. What they do afterwards, like, they don't do much with it afterwards, but that initial reveal, like, hit. That was insane. But then that's kind of it. The team, I mean, just some real lackluster Rangers, if we're being honest with that team. Great concepts, though. I mean, dual, like, rival brothers chasing over this crown. They're kind of having a jewel hunt for the crown with the jewels with it. One of the best crossovers, in my opinion. Once a Ranger was great. I probably do prefer traditional, like, the current team crossovers with the previous team, but seeing, like, a Ranger from different teams all together. And we get an untraditional, like, the Black Ranger's the leader of that team. Adam leads that team. We get some SPD lore drop in that scene. But overall, I mean, just great concepts that just don't land. So I'm going to put it D. Jungle Fury. I get it. I feel like Jungle Fury, the talk is always that it's underrated, so it's not underrated. I mean, I put it S. To me, this is an S tier season. Maybe that's overrating it to some people. Maybe that's perfectly rated for others. I don't care. This is one of my top 3 seasons, in all honesty. RJ is probably my favorite mentor, right up there with Doggy Cougar from SPD. But RJ is probably my favorite. I think I give him the edge because purple's my favorite color. And that's like, this is the first Purple Ranger we have, and we don't see another till Dino Charge. But yeah, I mean, Jungle Fury, Casey and Jared, like, / Daishi, like, that parallel from the season of, like, Jared learning, Daishi learning his new body, Jared learning and, like, becoming more human and, like, you know, separating from Daishi, paralleling Casey's own journey of learning as he moves on with the Pai Shui. I mean, it's done so well. The dynamic between Casey and RJ is done really well. RJ really helping and pushing him forward to being the Red Ranger he needs to be. I mean, that's an S-tier season that's followed up with another S-tier season. This one is one of the most unique seasons in Power Rangers with a post-apocalyptic theme. The mentor of the season, Dr. K, created the villain that has wiped out most of the Earth. Like, there's no other villain that can say that. Every other villain is trying to take out a city to start in these Power Ranger seasons. Vinjax has already wiped out most of the Earth. Every other season, they're protecting one city, and the rest of the Earth is fine. In RPM, they're protecting one city. The rest of the Earth is destroyed. That one city is all that is left. Dylan, Ziggy, best bromance in all of Power Rangers. Love it. Ziggy was hilarious. Dylan being the straight man to him, but, you know, having this kindness to him, this letting Ziggy into his heart a little bit was great. His Dylan's little, you know, mystery backstory that gets expanded upon. Vinjax being one of the smartest villains in Power Rangers. People know what RPM is, okay? Gonna put it as Samurai. I hate this season. I haven't finished it because I can't. I finished every other season. I just have not done Samurai yet. I plan on doing videos, like a video for each era of Power Rangers, so eventually I will watch through it, but I hate that season so much. The acting is so bad. It's so bad, and I don't even blame the actors. I feel like as soon as they had a take where all the lines were said correctly, the director just moved on and didn't give a shit. The writing is also bad. The concepts I like. I like the idea of these villains live in, you know, this underworld that come through the cracks, this netherworld, I should say, and they want human tears to flood through into the human world. I like the idea. Power Rangers being something that's passed down through generation. I like the idea. But Jaden is one of the most insufferable Rangers I've ever seen. And the sensei that just, like, lets him do whatever he wants and is like, yeah, Jaden's the greatest. Jaden's the best. That's not challenging. Like, I like it when they get challenged. Even if they don't change. If they have their ideas their way and they get challenged and they push back on the challenge and stick true to what they are, that's great too. Or if they get challenged, see they're wrong, and change. That's also great. Not every character needs to change. Carter does not change. He sticks to who he is and pushes through everything. Casey needs to change. He gets challenged and changes. Both worked really well. Jaden just getting his dick sucked the whole show. It's not interesting. It's an F tier season. Megaforce is also an F tier season. Legendary Battle, one of the most disappointing things ever. There's not much to say here. Everyone hates Megaforce. It's like the most. I think it's considered the worst. It's not my worst. It's my second worst. Samurai obviously taking the cake. But then we go into Dino Charge, which I did like. I'll probably put it B. I'm forgetting names. I'm forgetting names right now. Shelby, there we go. Shelby, one of the better Pink Rangers. She takes maybe the main focus in the show, at least beginning. And it's done actually pretty well. That was very interesting to see. They rarely ever kind of focus on like a non-red. Like RPM focuses on Dylan, the Black Ranger, but like most of the time they're focusing on the Red Ranger, if anything. But they took a real focus on the Pink Ranger. And I think it worked out. It was very interesting. Very good season. 10 Rangers is crazy. Another Purple Ranger in there, which I love to see. And I love the Dino seasons, man. I love the Dino themes. I get people are done with them. But like I'm fine with another Dino season. I think when we get this reboot, it's going to start off with dinosaurs. Zero problem with that. Love the dinosaur theme. So it's not a negative to me. But yeah, I'll just put it B. I'm going to put it B. And then Ninja Steel. So this is a bad season, right? Ninja Steel is a bad season. We know that. But to me, it hits this weird spot of being bad, but like I enjoy it for that. Like the storylines, the acting, it's all I'm just like, this is what's happening. Like this is funny to me. And I'm going to be honest, Victor and Monty, I genuinely found hilarious. I'm honestly going to put Ninja Steel C. I found it funny. I found it entertaining. It didn't entertain me in the ways it wanted to. I didn't feel the emotions it wanted me to. But I was just laughing at it, and I had a good time watching it. I'm honestly going to put Ninja Steel C. Now, Beast Morphers. Oh, man. This, like, should have been an A tier. This should have been an A tier. So many things were set up, and they had so many ideas that, like, they almost execute well on it, or they tease it, and then they don't fully develop it the way you want to. Like, I'm blanking on names again. Oh, man. Okay, well, the other one is Ravi and his mom being the commander. They play with that idea in like 2 episodes. Not interesting enough. They only do it twice. It's whatever. I don't think they utilize that concept as much as they should do. Zoe, I think that was the Yellow Ranger this season. Zoe, her mom being a reporter. How they could play with that with her being a ranger and her mom being a reporter and what kind of dynamics that could do. They play with it like, again, 2 episodes, and that's it. God, I'm blanking on the Red Ranger. That is who I'm blanking on. The Red Ranger and his dad. I feel like it starts with a D. Devin. Yes. Okay. Devin and his dad. Being the mayor, and Devin, his dad, thinking he's not doing anything in his life, that he's wasting all this time, that he's super lazy, and he turns out he's the Red Ranger, he's the leader of the Power Rangers. It fell flat again for me. It's just like, God, you could have done more with that. Nate got so much focus on in that season, and I like Nate as a character, but I don't like him enough to be the driving force of the season. And then Steel comes in. I thought I was going to be annoyed by, but I actually found him very entertaining. One of the highlights of the season. But, like, I don't know. They could have taken a little less from Nate and given it to the others, especially their dynamics with the parents. That could have been the theme of the season, was family and these different dynamics and how these things work out. And it fell flat on that. I mean, you could still say the theme still was family because those dynamics still are there to some extent. The big thing being Nate and Steele's brotherhood. It didn't quite land for me, and it's like, it's better than Ninja Steel. I'm going to put it B. I'm just disappointed. Like, it was solid. It was a solid season. Evox being there, turning out to be, Vengex was interesting enough. Maybe not to as much as it could have been, but I'm going to put it B. Dino Fury. Dino Fury. I actually really liked Dino Fury. Was it A? God, is it? It's not SPD. It's not on that level. Ninja Storm, I feel like Ninja Storm knew what it was more than what Dino Fury knew what it was. And I get that, this Beast Morphers was when Hasbro took over. There was some change there, but maybe that extended to Dino Fury as well. So maybe there was some stuff. Also, there's still newly acquired property, relatively. I'm gonna put it B. I did really like it though. Tarek, one of my favorite characters. Void Knight was really good. And then when he finally, and I like how he was never mind controlled. He was never anything. He was just a man dedicated to saving his wife. And once he kind of sees what she's become as a result of everything that happened to them, he kind of backs away a bit and tries to be a good guy, and eventually, gets taken over. But I did really like Tarek in that aspect. I think Amelia, the whole her being Ravkonian reveal, should have happened maybe a little sooner in the season and developed further, and what that means and the fallout that has with all the different characters could have been done better. Because it's just and she immediately understands how to use her powers, how to use everything. She's immediately fine with everything. It's just a little disappointing to me. That aspect. I did like her and Ollie's relationship. I do kind of. I'm a sucker for they're not quite enemies, but the enemies to lovers stereotype. I'm a sucker for it. I really like Zato. He was a more stoic leader, and we haven't seen that work well in the past with Troy and Jaden. But he pulled it off. I mean, credit to the actor. I think it's mainly because of him just being able to properly portray the emotions in more subtle ways. It worked really well. I think they could have done maybe a little more with him and Ion and their dynamic and relationship, given that, Ion has to see, he saw Zato truly fail as a leader, and we get one episode reveal and a one episode dealing with that, and Ion finally trusting Zato again. I feel like that could have been a little longer, because Zato okays the thing that destroys their whole planet. Ion was against it. That's a huge thing, and it just it was a rush to. They resolved it a little too quickly. Resolution happening a little too quickly might be the theme for the show for me. But then Cosmic Fury. This is the first truly episodic season of Power Rangers, where every episode truly leads on into the next for all 10 episodes. I did really like it. It's not A, it's B, and I'll address the shape of this in a second. But Cosmic Fury was a solid 10 episodes. It was good. It wasn't great. It does leave me wanting more in this continuity. They tease some of the Zordon stuff. Zordon is still alive out there in a way. Billy's looking for him. And Billy learns that Zordon is out there. He knows for sure he is out there, and he's looking. That leads me to want more. So it's okay, is this the send-off to the continuity? I just think it can't be. I refuse to believe it. With everything we saw in Cosmic Fury, I refuse to believe this is the end of the continuity. It's a really good send-off to the Dino Fury team. That's true. Javi losing his arm, I think they did enough with it. I heard one complaint that they didn't do enough. I thought they did more than I thought they would. I thought they would just have him lose the arm, some jokes with it, and that's it. But honestly, he really did deal with the mental aspect of losing his arm and adjusting his life, without that arm and getting used to the robotic arm. But yeah, Zed fully being back. He came back in Down Here, but being this main villain for this season was fine. I liked him and Ollie. That ended up working way better than I thought it would. Him, not needing to, but taking on Ollie as this protege, even though he was just being mind controlled, was very interesting. But yeah, it was a good season. Good send-off to the Fury team, but just not a good send-off to the whole continuity. And I really am starting to refuse to believe that it is. But yeah, here it is, man. Here is my ranking of every single season of Power Rangers. That apparently, to me, the post-Zordon first Saban run is my favorite era, apparently, with end of Disney coming in close, even though I probably have, I don't know, these probably are my top 5. This one's on the fringe, but I have to put it as a lot of B's, but I feel like that A is the proper place for all of them. There's a lot of good in Power Rangers, a decent amount of great, and there's not actually as much bad as maybe some fans make it out to be. But it's just because we had this really good run, and like the Disney was even still really good. Like this one's fighting for S, this one's fighting for A. It's just like we haven't had that level of like consistent, like really good quality content in a while, and that's where the anger comes from, which I understand. Hasbro, we'll see what they do with this new continuity. I don't know, and the rumors I'm hearing about it, we'll see. We'll have to see how everything plays out. I don't know. I'm a sucker for Red being the leader. I know that some people are like, we don't have to be living by this color rule. I like it. I don't know, man. Like just consistently like red. I like that. I'm a sucker for it, but I'll be open to the change. Another female red, Amelia, I liked as the Red Ranger. Upon like looking back, like yeah, she wasn't really challenged much, so like it holds her back somewhat compared to some of the other Rangers who truly do get challenged. Like individually, like obviously the team gets challenged by the enemy, but like her individually as a leader, her individually as a character doesn't necessarily get challenged like some other ones. But for the most part, this is how I feel about everything. Let me know what you think about Power Rangers, what your favorite season is. My favorite season, I don't know why I ask myself that. I can never answer. I always jump back and forth. I honestly, even Dino Thunder, I jump back and forth with all 6 of these being my favorite. I think, gun to my head, I'm going to rank these right now. I'm going to go with... Damn, that's tough. Honestly, I think In Space is the one I connect with the least. It's still really fucking good, but I do connect with it the least. Time Force, I think it's going to go something like this. Let's go that there. I'm going to do that. Let me just look at it. Let me just look. I think I got to go there. Let's do this. This is how it stands now. This flips all the time, but that's probably how I'd rank my 6th favorite season of Power Rangers ever. Just let me know what your favorite is below. What you agreed with most with this list and what you disagreed with most. Probably got some more videos coming out. Mondays are going to be like the quickly made. This is where tier list is. Maybe some quizzes, stuff like that would be coming out on Monday. Podcast stuff comes out on Wednesday. That's when either the pod comes out on my channel or Avillion Talks. We alternate uploading. Me and my friend do it. But I'll always have like either the full pod or a clip up on this channel on Wednesday, and then Saturday is when I try to have like my main video out, whether it be the Oscars video, a WeVault video, or soon to come look back. I'm still watching through Freaks and Geeks right now. Sorry, Too Soon is what it's called. Too Soon is the series where I take a look back at shows canceled after one season to see if they were gone too soon. That will be coming out. I don't know when I'll be able to finish that one. I'm not sure what's coming out this Saturday. But just, subscribe for all that to come. Like this video. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, keep gaming.